Good afternoon. Since I'm trying to keep myself awake, one of the questions I get asked a lot about is water in my mounts. And I'm not the first person in the world to have a mounted orchid, and I'm not the not the person to probably ask experience-wise. But let me tell you how I water my mounts and the issues I have with them. A little one like this, because of the thinness of the wood itself won't retain a lot of moisture. So this one, and because they are very, very small, little brassavola babies here, they do need to be watered more often. And I probably dunk them once a day, but not always, but at least probably every day, maybe every other day. Even little ones like this, and this is that is a cat. These are cattleya babies, but I don't water them quite as much. If I water these every day, I lose roots on them. They like the wet-dry cycle, but when I do water them, I let them soak. I don't just dunk them and then hang them back up. I let them soak till the wood's nice and saturated, until the roots are plump and green, and the plant's nice and firm, stiff, and then they can go for several days without water. And I'm in South Alabama. We're 95 to 100 most days here. It's a little cooler today, but still. Something like this, because of the thickness of the wood, because it has a little more mass, and because of the bark thickness and stuff, and it does have a little bit of residual moss left from when I first put them on there. But this had fishing line. This was one of the last ones I got the fishing line off of. I'm not a big fishing line fan, but it doesn't get watered that often, maybe once a week for this, and these are fairly small. This is Jimmy Cricket times BLC, Myrtle Beach, I think, and Burdekin Stormcross, but not as much as you think. The bigger mounts, something like this Little Star and a Dosa, I soak these maybe once a week, and when I say soak, that's I think that that's what works for me, is I just let them soak. I mean, they might soak for a good morning. I do the same with pots even. I don't just dunk them unless I'm just trying to give everybody a quick drink or something, or get them wet if I'm going to give nutrients to them later on or something. I want to just get the roots greened up, and moist. But if I'm going to water something, I'll let them sit and soak real well. I don't like to. If I'm feeding, I will spray, because that's different. But if I want this plant to really hydrate, I'm not going to water with a wand or with a sprayer just here and let it. If I did, I'd have to really water it heavily, because I like to flush all my stuff out. I don't like it to build up at all. If you notice, I don't have residual built up on pots. There's a Renanthera back there. It's got some algae built up on it, but it's got moss growing on top of it. So I think it's spores that are spreading down. But you notice I don't have residual built up on pots. I don't have nutrient residual or algae build up on pots. You don't have to if you're feeding correctly. Mounts again. Something like this, and this cattleya is, it's never hydrated 100%. The older parts of it, the new growths and stuff that are coming out are nice and green and thick, but the older ones have never got 100% of their hydration back, and I don't know if they will, because of the canes, and they're probably just supplying, not growing or anything anymore. But the new growths look real good. They're nice and succulent and green, but again, I don't have to soak them that much. I have more issues with little pots like this. I have to water more often, and this, even being bark, dries out fairly quick. But even the ones that are in rock and stuff, I don't have to water as often. Now, a little mount like this, I'm watering this a little more often. I'm probably going to dunk this every day, because I want the roots to get established, but I'm also going to watch the roots, because too much water will kill the roots too. So it's the wet, dry cycle. They have to go through the wet, dry cycle in order. Every time it does that, the roots grow a little bit. Every time it does it, the roots grow a little bit. So the more wet, dry cycles you can make a plant do, the more growth you can get them to get, put out. These are sulfurnitis. These like a little bit of water, but I don't water them every day. Every few days, these will get a good soak for, maybe 20, 30 minutes or something, which is more than enough. They're on a piece of, I think this is azalea wood. And they're out getting a little bit more sun today. The growth will slow on these if I don't keep the sun on them. I know they don't like a lot of sun, and they're not getting as much sun as a normal cattleya, but every once in a while I have to put them back out where they can get a little bit more of filtered light, and I don't know, it seems to speed up the growth on them a little more. There's another group of them. For the most part, I mean, like a Vanda, I have to soak this on. I'll let this soak for an afternoon or even overnight, and to keep it really, really plump and keep the keep the roots and stuff green. And as long as I keep doing it, the tips keep growing, keep growing, and keep growing. It just keeps putting them out, keeps putting them out. Anyway, I guess to answer the question, no, I don't have to water my mounds all the time. It's really odd. I think it's in how you water. When I put them, when I soak them, I let them soak really good, so they're saturated. So I don't think they can hold any more water, and then I hang, and so they don't get watered but every few days, maybe. When they all come inside, it's going to be a little bit different situation, but I think if I can maintain humidity, and especially maintain the humidity in the evenings when the stomata's more open on some of them, I think I can make up for that. So we're going to play around since we have a little bit more of a controlled environment when we bring them inside. So anyway, just wanted to answer that question. And, I'm not sure if I gave a whole lot of information to help anybody or not, but enjoy your afternoon. Beautiful day in Alabama.